Did you know that 85% of the world's billionaires didn't graduate from college? It's a shocking fact, but it reveals something surprising. Skill isn't always the most important thing. What truly sets successful people apart is imagination. People like Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and Elon Musk didn't just rely on their skills. They used their imagination to transform the world. In fact, a study from the University of Pennsylvania found that creativity is more crucial than IQ for predicting success. So, why do so many people believe that success depends on perfecting skills? The truth is, it's imagination, the ability to think outside the box, that drives real breakthroughs. In this video, we'll dive into why imagination matters more than skill, and how you can unlock your own creative power. You'll learn why daydreaming, embracing failure, and asking, "What if?" are key strategies to fuel your imagination. Get ready to discover how to think differently and create something amazing. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Unlocking the power of daydreams. When was the last time you caught yourself daydreaming? Maybe it was in a meeting, while waiting for your coffee, or even during a walk. Most of us dismiss these moments as distractions, but they could be the key to unlocking your creativity. Studies show that daydreaming activates the brain's creative centers, especially the default mode network, DMN, which helps with problem solving and idea generation. So, instead of feeling guilty for zoning out, embrace it. Did you know that some of the world's most iconic inventions came from moments of daydreaming? Albert Einstein once credited his theory of relativity to daydreaming. He famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Daydreaming is where the mind can wander freely, connecting seemingly unrelated ideas, creating a foundation for fresh ideas." A simple technique is to allow yourself 10-15 minutes of undirected thinking each day. No goals, no pressure, just let your thoughts flow. You can do this while gazing out the window or during a quiet walk. The key is to let go of control and trust that your mind will take you to new, uncharted places. When you stop forcing creativity, you'll find it often comes to you naturally. It's also important to step away from the screen. Studies have found that constant screen time can suppress creativity, as we get too distracted by the instant information. Give your mind the chance to wander without constant digital interruptions. The more you let your imagination roam, the more likely you'll stumble upon those aha moments. Chapter 2. The art of what if thinking. Curiosity is the spark that fuels imagination. One of the simplest ways to ignite it is by asking yourself, "What if?" This is a mindset that can open new doors and challenge conventional thinking. Whether you're trying to solve a problem or brainstorm a creative project, asking, "What if?" is a powerful strategy. For instance, Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was known for his "what if" approach to innovation. He constantly questioned the status quo, pushing boundaries that others might never have considered. "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do," he famously said. This mindset led to game-changing products like the iPhone, which revolutionized the tech industry. So, how can you make what if thinking work for you? Start by asking questions like, "What if there's a simpler way to solve this problem?" Or, "What if I combined two completely different ideas?" This strategy doesn't just spark creativity, but it also encourages you to think outside your normal boundaries, taking risks and exploring uncharted territory. The power of what if can also be seen in the creative process of some of the greatest minds in history. Nikola Tesla, who invented alternating current, was known to ask, "What if I could send electricity wirelessly?" His relentless questioning led him to pioneer innovations that still shape the world today. When you challenge yourself to think beyond the obvious, you open up new possibilities that could completely change your creative journey. Try turning everyday situations into what if exercises. What if the way you normally work could be made easier? What if you tried a completely different approach to your art or writing? By rethinking the way you engage with your work, you can uncover fresh perspectives and push your creative limits. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying these creative tips. Hit the bell to stay updated with more ways to unlock your imagination. Chapter 3. Embracing failure as your creative friend. Failure is often seen as a roadblock, something to avoid at all costs. But what if we reframed failure as a friend? Failure doesn't have to be the end of the road, it can be a launchpad for new ideas and directions. The most creative minds in history didn't achieve success by avoiding failure, they embraced it, learned from it, and used it as fuel for their next move. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He is famously quoted saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's persistence and ability to learn from each failure made him one of the most inventive figures in history. His many failures with the light bulb led to breakthroughs in technology that changed the world. Embracing failure also involves letting go of perfectionism. Trying to be perfect can actually stifle creativity. Creativity thrives when we take risks and experiment, and perfectionism is the enemy of that process. Instead of obsessing over making every detail perfect, focus on progress. Creative people know that their best work comes from trying, failing, and trying again. Research backs this up. A study by the University of California found that individuals who embraced failure were more likely to come up with creative solutions. The fear of failure often holds us back from trying something new. But when we stop fearing mistakes and view them as learning opportunities, our creativity can soar. To use failure as your friend, you need to shift your mindset. Instead of saying, "I messed up," reframe it as, "This is a lesson I can use." With each misstep, you'll be learning and refining your creative process. The more you embrace failure, the more confident you'll become in your ability to create. If you're finding this helpful, don't forget to subscribe. More practical tips on using failure to fuel creativity are coming your way. Chapter 4. See the world with new eyes. Mindful creativity. Sometimes, the key to unlocking your creativity isn't about coming up with a brand new idea. It's about seeing things around you with fresh eyes. Mindfulness, the practice of being present in the moment, can help you do just that. By slowing down and paying attention to the smallest details, you start to notice things that others might overlook. This shift in perspective is often where creativity begins. Studies show that mindfulness enhances creativity. A 2012 study from the University of California found that people who practiced mindfulness performed better on creativity tests. When you're truly present, you can observe things without judgment, which allows your mind to make new connections. Those simple moments of awareness can open doors to unique, out-of-the-box ideas. One simple way to practice mindful creativity is to take a few minutes each day to focus solely on your surroundings. Look around, notice the textures, colors, and sounds. Let your mind wander without any specific goal. This can help you break free from rigid thinking and approach problems with more flexibility. You might also consider doing mindfulness exercises like focusing on your breathing or observing your thoughts. These activities calm the mind and encourage fresh insights to emerge. Once you train your brain to look at the world with a more open mind, creativity will follow. Mindfulness doesn't just apply to your personal life, it's also an incredible tool in your work. Artists, writers, and entrepreneurs use mindfulness to help them break free from mental blocks. When you're stuck in a creative rut, try stepping outside, taking a walk, or just sitting in silence for a few minutes. A change of pace can often refresh your creative perspective. Take the example of artist Claude Monet. He was known for his mindfulness in observing nature. His famous water lily paintings came from hours of quiet observation, capturing the stillness and subtle movements of the world around him. By slowing down and paying attention, he could transform simple scenes into masterpieces. Chapter 5. Borrowing from other worlds. Cross-pollination of ideas. One of the most exciting ways to foster creativity is by borrowing ideas from different fields. This concept is called cross-pollination, and it's how some of the most innovative ideas come to life. It's the ability to connect seemingly unrelated concepts and bring them together in a way that's new and unexpected. Steve Jobs, again, is a great example of this. He didn't just think about technology in isolation, he borrowed design principles from calligraphy, art, and even music. He once said, "Creativity is just connecting things." The iPhone, for instance, wasn't just a phone, it was the result of combining technology with design aesthetics, user experience, and even an understanding of human behavior. Research shows that people who work in interdisciplinary teams are more likely to come up with creative ideas. A study from the University of Chicago found that teams with members from diverse backgrounds were more innovative than homogeneous teams. When you mix different perspectives, you get new solutions. How can you apply cross-pollination in your own work? Start by looking at other industries, hobbies, or interests. For instance, if you're a writer, take inspiration from visual art or architecture. If you're an entrepreneur, try learning about psychology or philosophy. By mixing ideas from different areas, you may stumble upon solutions that never crossed your mind before. Another great way to practice this is by reading widely. Don't just stick to books related to your field, branch out. Read about history, science, or fiction. The more diverse your knowledge, the more creative connections you'll be able to make. Chapter 6. Imagination versus perfectionism. Letting go of the perfect idea. Perfectionism can be a creativity killer. So many people hesitate to start their creative projects because they want everything to be perfect from the get-go. But here's the secret: perfectionism is often the enemy of progress. Creativity thrives when we let go of the need for everything to be flawless. In his book The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield writes, "Resistance will tell you that your work isn't good enough, don't listen to it." The fear of not being perfect often paralyzes us and keeps us from even starting. But creativity isn't about achieving perfection, it's about creating, learning, and evolving along the way. A great example of this is the creative process of Pixar. They are known for their rapid prototyping and constant iteration. They don't aim for perfection in the first draft. Instead, they focus on getting their ideas out, then refine and improve as they go. The result? Iconic films like Toy Story and Finding Nemo. Data backs this up. A 2018 study in the Journal of Business Creativity showed that creative teams that focused on experimenting and accepting failure produced more groundbreaking ideas than those who were obsessed with perfection. It turns out, creative risk-taking is what drives innovation, not the pursuit of flawlessness. How can you stop perfectionism from holding you back? Start by setting small, achievable goals that let you move forward without the pressure of being perfect. Focus on progress, not perfection. Remember, the best ideas often emerge in the messy, unfinished stages of creation. Also, remind yourself that no one starts as an expert. Creativity is about taking risks, trying new things, and being comfortable with mistakes. The more you let go of perfectionism, the more you'll allow your imagination to flow freely. Perfectionism often causes self-doubt and prevents us from sharing our ideas with the world. But once you accept that mistakes are part of the process, you'll find that your ideas become more authentic and powerful. Perfection doesn't lead to creativity, imperfection does. The final takeaway? Imagination is a force that thrives when we give it the freedom to grow. By shifting our mindset, letting go of perfectionism, and using creative strategies like mindfulness, cross-pollination, and daydreaming, we unlock new ways of thinking. With this approach, creativity is no longer just a skill, it becomes a mindset. Make sure to subscribe to keep getting more tips on how to unlock your creative power.